Hello and welcome to the video review for the Takara Tomy Henkei Classics Decepticon Specialist 3-pack with Galvatron, Octane, and Astrotrain. Now, as you guys probably have noticed, if you've been watching my other videos, I do not usually do the whole box thing. I'm going to make an exception here because this box is really cool. I wasn't expecting anything this stylized or this intricate. And there's also something kind of weird that I wanted to point out too. But first, so here we have the entire box, and just for a quick size reference, beep beep MP10. So yeah, this box is massive. I don't know what I was expecting. I knew it was a 3-pack, but I haven't ever gotten any of the Henkei 3-packs before, so I didn't really know it was going to show up in a box quite this big. It has some Velcro down at the bottom, which allows you to open the package up and get a nice little view of all of the figures inside. And I must say, I'm pretty excited to see this mold. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I've never had it, and this paint scheme looks great, especially compared to the original. Sorry, the glare is kind of impossible to deal with. So you got this stuff up here. And don't really get anything on the side, but on the back you get 3 separate little bios. And same thing, nothing really on the other side. So the weird thing that I wanted to point out, front of the box, Hasbro. Top of the box, Hasbro. Side of the box, Hasbro. Other side of the box is the same. Back of the box has no branding. And we do not see even the slightest reference to Takara Tomy until we come all the way down to the bottom of the box. There's a tiny little Takara Tomy logo right there. So, I'm a little confused, I gotta be honest, because this is just talking about Hasbro down here. So I don't know if this version is different than the Asian release or what, because this was purchased and marketed as a Takara Tomy, and it has the Japanese Transformers logo. So I don't know. I don't know if just this entire release is just being produced and distributed by Hasbro, and it's just being marketed as a Takara Tomy Henkei release. I'm not entirely positive. But yeah, pretty much that is everything. I think with the box that they put. Yep, think so. Got this little sad dude. He's like, no. Yep. So that's everything. And I am now going to get into the reviews. I'm going to do a review per figure. So I'm probably going to start off. I have no idea where I'm going to start off. It's a surprise! The first of the Henkei Decepticon 3-pack that I will be reviewing is Octane. This mold was originally released in the 2008 Universe line and was also released in the Henkei Japanese line. And I believe this is the only re-release that there has been since then. This figure is a triple changer. This is his ground-based alt mode, which is a truck. So you have some big black hole of doom back here. And it's a little gappy. I think this guy and the Astrotrain were, I believe, the first 2 attempts at Chug's triple changers, so they definitely show their age a little bit in terms of how smoothly they pulled that off. But I think it's a decent truck mode. It's not necessarily an Earth mode, but it's an interesting truck mode. For a size comparison, here he is next to Hound. And these bits right here are the weapons, so they can be pointed in multiple different directions. You can point them forward as guns, you can have them up like smokestacks like they were. Or you can take them off these front parts completely. And if you would like, you can also put them back here. To transform this guy, I want to remove the weapons. And this entire silver part right here is tabbed in right here. I'm going to untab that. Right here. Untab that. And that might also pop it off this middle right here, but this is pressure clipped, whatever, in between these two guys right here. Oh, sorry. This right here goes between these two things right here. Set that off to the side. And you are left with this. First thing you're going to want to do is fold these on their hinges up around like that. And form them together. And then come back here, split these two legs, and rotate the entire thing down like that. You're going to want to flatten those out. Turn this leg around. Turn this leg around. Tilt this whole thing back. Flatten these out, which will also bring in little panels to fill out the gap. And clip them together. Straighten out the wings, and they both are connected to each other. And then come back over here and grab the silver part, and you want to attach it like that. And there you have him in his big jumbo jet mode. And these guys can mount in the two holes underneath the wings here. So again, he's a little gappy. He's a little doofy looking. These wings are way too small for the size of the jet that they were going for. They really should have made this smaller and kept the wings the same size. For the jumbo jet look thing that they were trying to go for, these wings would need to be substantially bigger. The tail bit back here is a little difficult. You can't really straighten this out without the tail kind of curving upwards and looking very silly. That's about the best you can get. So there's still going to be a little bit of an upward curve there, although it doesn't totally bug me. But if you try to straighten that out much more, you'll get a lot more gapping in here. For size comparison, here he is next to Cyclonus. So they're about the same size. So to transform him into robot mode, come back down here, disconnect this silver thing again. Separate the legs, pop these back in. I just forget how you pop these out. There we go. You pop the window bits out like this. Fold the windows back. Pop the weapons off. Pop the legs off. Spin these around. Split this. Fold these back in, just enough that you can use it to pop the head up on this slider. Once you have it up, you can close it back and it will lock the arms in place as well as the head. Now for the arms, you have a couple different options. The default and stock way to have them is up like this. Which, I mean, I guess that works. It's up to you. I have also seen some people straighten this out and have the arms out like this. And I kind of waffle back and forth as to which one I prefer. I know this is technically like a fan transformation for it, but I think it kind of looks a little bit better and it gives him a more interesting silhouette than having the two giant things sticking up there. But technically, this is the proper transformation. So, And apparently his ball joint on this leg is very loose. I haven't noticed that before this review, but... So you do get the purple paint revealed when you have the arms up like that, so that's nice. I don't know if that was on the original mold. Pop his weapons in his hands. Along with his guns, he comes with this silver guy that we used a couple times in his different alt modes. Come up here and you want to untab this little bit, and the whole thing will split apart and become kind of a rare thing. Who knows what this is supposed to be? It's a toy, who cares? So what you can do is pop one of his guns out, and they actually have holes on the tops of both the guns, so you can kind of give it a little G2 Target Master-esque kind of vibe going on. Yeah, apparently his hip joints are kind of loose. That's a bummer. This is an old mold and it's a re-release, so I will forgive them on that one. And you can give him kind of a gladiatorial, sharp, stabby doom weapon of doom. So that's cool. For a robot mode size comparison, here he is next to Cup. So he looks pretty decent from all angles, gotta be honest. He's definitely the older classics aesthetic. He's a bit chunkier and a little bit more fiddly than the more recent figures we've gotten from Chugs. But he's a Decepticon, and I love him. Here he is next to Orion Pax. So, as with many of the newer generations figures and stuff, these guys are just smaller than what we were getting before anyway, so these guys are probably scaled for each other better than this. Although Orion Pax was younger and, you know, what else, so I don't mind him being tiny. For articulation, back in the wings, you have the connected flapping, and each one can go up and down from here to there individually. So that is the range of motion you get, basically 90 degrees. So you could do up like this, you could do out, side to side, whatever you want. You have ball joint. You have a transformation joint here, but it's very tight and not very good for articulation. Depending on how you have the arms, you have this joint, but it's also very tight and not very great for articulation. And then you have the ball jointed elbow and the wrist swivel before they were cool. His head is on a ball joint, although you can't get very much forward and backward motion out of it. It's kind of sunk down in there, which is a little lame. Got apparently weak ball joints in the hips. You get much better motion if you lift this little butt flap here. You have upper thigh swivels and kind of foot tilt, but transformation joint, so doesn't totally count. And these are pretty much locked in place. If you move them too much, they just kind of get floppy. So, all in all, I'm happy to finally have this mold in my collection. It's been something I've been eyeballing for a while. All three of these molds actually are. And because of their price and the fact that they're a little bit older, I really didn't want to get them, but I wanted them. And then they happened to announce this 3-pack, which seemed kind of tailor-made for me, because it was 3 molds that I wanted that were hard to find and expensive for much less money than it would have cost to even get like 2 of them, let alone all 3 of them. And they all have nice new purple decos, which is my favorite color, and they're all Decepticons, and this 3-pack was right up my alley, basically, is what I'm saying. So I really don't have that many complaints about this guy. He's definitely an older one of the Chugs figures. He's not quite as articulated, he's not quite as solid in his vehicle forms as the more recent stuff that we've been getting. But I still really like him. I think he pulls off the character. It's still a good update. I'm happy to finally have an Octane to display. That is nice. He was just absent from my shelf before, as was Galvatron and Astrotrain. So again, this set is kind of perfect. And I think he's definitely good. I like the new kind of semi-metallic purple paint that they're using on some of the stuff. I like the con logos on all 3 of them. They're very well done. Between his modes, his robot mode and probably his truck mode, I think, are the more solid. I don't necessarily think his plane mode is great. It's not horrible, but I wish they had just made these smaller and the tail portions perhaps a little smaller, and just gone with he's a normal plane, because the wings that they have to, the size that they had to make the wings to make them fit into the truck mode really don't work with the jumbo jet thing, and it kind of like turns out looking a little silly. So I think if they just went for a normal plane size proportions, it would have looked a lot better. But I mean, these are also giant robots that transform into things, so suspension of disbelief is a factor there. I wish there was a little bit more posability in his feet, but it's not terrible. This concerns me. This is the only thing that I'm kind of like, about right now. I don't know why that keeps popping off. Plastic. How silly you are. Yeah, I think this is a good buy. If you guys don't have this mold, or if you don't have any of these molds, then definitely. But good mold. Whether or not you should get this particular 3-pack is up to you. That just depends on what's in your collection and what you're looking for right now. But the mold definitely gets my seal of approval.